It's been since March 18th of 2021 since I've seen my son Ethan. They unlawfully took my son Ethan first from my care, and in an unlawful proceeding that's already been adjudged unlawful by the appellate court at this point. Some of my children have special needs, and so I've really not only been a mom, but their advocate. And as my ex continued to have his own struggles and was arrested for drunk driving and was really struggling with alcoholism and domestic abuse, that then resulted in the next arrest for the domestic abuse, where he was removed from our home. The judge had completely disregarded, never even mentioned the irrebuttable presumption, meaning there is nothing that can be done to overcome or to change the fact that the legislature requires that when there has been a pattern of domestic abuse, that the placement of the children is required by law to always have the primary paramount consideration of safety of the victim of the children over every other factor that's written into the law.
How I wish I was there, holding you near. Baby, I'll be there. Baby, I'll be there.
So on December 29th, 2021 is when I got the news from the appellate team out of Washington, D.C. that worked on this appeal. They saw the value in appealing this case because of the importance that it represented for all domestic abuse victims in the state of Wisconsin. So the Wisconsin Court of Appeals found that the first judge, in fact, read words that were not in the statute and omitted words that were. And by using that phrase, they really indicated that he disregarded the law completely, that essentially he was, they call it legislating from the bench. He was making up his own rule in this case and not applying the laws of the state passed by the legislature. We won on the appeal that they had reversed the order. They had found it to be against the statutes. After the laws passed in Wisconsin in 2003 requiring the protection of domestic abuse victims, including in family court, that there was essentially no case law that's been established, and that in fact there was statistics showing that those laws themselves were not being upheld in the lower courts. They weren't properly applying them. And when that happens, case law is really important because it helps to clarify and uphold the statutes passed by our legislature in the separation of powers. The presumptions for my sole custody and as the victim, the irrebuttable presumption that placement be with the victim and the children's safety as paramount needed to be properly entered into as an order in the lower court per the appellate court. Because it's a rare occurrence really to even find a way to appeal, let alone be successful on appeal, to then have a lower court that then refuses to comply took some research to try to understand. I have been researching and trying to understand what the process is for relief after an appeal when the lower court refuses to comply.
What was that first moment when you realized that they were taken and they weren't coming back? What did that feel like?
Well, I've never realized that they weren't coming back. I've just fought every day like they were going to come back that day.
And how long have you been fighting, and how long do you spend a day working on getting them back?
All day. I spend pretty much all day, every day, working to get them back. So, I wake up No, I can't, sorry. So today, on Christmas Day, I worked on finishing my writ of mandamus to be able to show the history of what happens when a lower court fails to comply with an appellate order.